Sup nerds, I'm Tom.
I'm Wes.
Leslie Knope's favorite game. Parks is a one-way time track game where, it's kind of akin to worker placement a little bit, but if you've played games like Francis Drake or Takedo and... nope, just those two. That's all I can think of off the top of my head. But, Heaven and Ale, I think? Raids? Okay. No, those are kind of rondelles. Okay, but it's almost the same thing. It's like a rondelle, but it has an end. Okay? So that's a good way to think about it if you didn't play those other two games and you don't know what I'm talking about. You have a little piece, and you pick it up and you move it to any of these spaces, kind of akin to worker placement, because when you land on the space, you get the stuff from that space.
But you can only go forwards.
You can only go forwards. You can go as far as you want, but you can never go back. So if I really want that thing at the end, I can go over there and get it, but then that's pretty much it, you know?
Yeah, and it is nice that you have two guys out there, so you can kind of like leapfrog off of each other. And like if you do go all the way in to get that thing because you really need it, you do still have another guy that you can take him a little bit slower.
Boop, boop, boop. Yeah, but also if everybody gets to the end and there's only one person still out there, then they have to go to the end. So that you can't just have one guy hang out and then be like, oh, everybody's up there. Okay, I'm going to take my time. This, and this, and this, and this. But there's blocking, kind of like worker placement. So if I'm at this spot, you can't come to that spot unless...
But you also have your campfire, which it starts off where you, once per round, can extinguish your campfire to go where somebody else is. There is an equipment card that lets you, revisit the same place.
It's 10.
There it is, 10.
Boom.
Which is awesome. But the reason that you are doing all of this is you are gathering resources to visit a park, which is really, you purchase this card. Very akin to, Splendor, where you have, your mission card you're trying to complete. So you're collecting resources to buy these cards. When I explain this to people, I do say it's like Splendor, but they built a board game around that mechanic.
Because I don't like Splendor, but I like this game.
And I think it's because they built a game around it. Splendor is just I'm getting this, and I spend it.
Now I have one gem.
But this has a lot of, I'm going to all these places to gather these resources to buy a card.
Mm-hmm. So it's very Euro game in the sense of gain resources, spend them for points. Gain resources, spend them for points. There is a little bit of engine building with the gear cards you can get and canteen cards you can get. Those are kind of little special ability things that can help you out. But it is a extremely light game.
Yeah, and I do like that in addition to just the buying these parks or visiting these parks, they do add in the camera mechanic as well, where there's certain spots in the game where you can take a picture, and that's you just spend resources to take the picture, and that's every picture you take is a victory point. But then you get the camera, and if you have the camera, pictures are all cheaper. So you don't want to let one person just hog the camera the whole game. You want that to pass around a lot so that one person isn't just getting a point for a resource over and over and over again.
Right. It's not necessarily OP, but it is strong enough to be something that you should probably say at the beginning of the game, especially with new players. Be like, hey, just so you know, try not to let one person run away with it because it can be pretty strong. So in addition to the visiting the parks thing, the gain resources, spend them for points thing, and the pictures, you of course get these little goal cards for yourself. Visit 6 parks with mountains to get 2 points, or visit 8 parks with mountains to get 3 points. But what you might be noticing with all these points is this is a relatively low scoring game, so every point matters.
Mm-hmm. And these cards, they don't revolutionize the game or anything, but they do kind of give you a direction to go for. They give you, if I had to choose between these two cards, this is the one that I want to get. Additionally, you also have the weather. So there's 4 rounds in the game. Every round, the weather changes, which puts resources out on the track, which also gets a little bigger and adds a new special ability tile every round.
And you shuffle it, too.
Yeah, you shuffle it all around, but you also have, a lasting condition. These cards are cheaper, or this is gain of water if you go to a mountain on a turn. So, slightly, making, small incentives to do things that, it's not so big that I have to do that now, but it definitely does help guide you and give you a little bonus for doing what they want you to do.
So we mostly explained the game to you there, and honestly, it's really light. Well, okay, it's really light for me. It's probably medium weight for most people. And which is weird because those tend to be games, it's like a bell curve, right? For me, the complexity and my likedness, complexity is the x-axis, which is this X and this is Y? I think so, because this is Z. Anyways, the bell curve kind of peaks, not at 5 for me, kind of a little bit higher, at like 6.5 or 7 in terms of complexity, right? And this is probably
3?
5. I would say 4, maybe.
Okay, 3 or 4.
Depending. These are all,
very arbitrary.
Very arbitrary, yes, that's the word. But I do really enjoy it especially I think because it's such a low scoring game, every point matters, so it feels really tight. It feels like you can't just willy nilly go and do stuff, and then in the last round we'll figure things out. It's not like Seven Wonders. I'll just take all the resources I can and see what I get in age 3, and that'll probably work out. No, every single move counts, and it's also like you're playing the other players. It's like if I go here, then that leaves this spot open for this person to come behind me, get the camera, and then they're done, and I can't go back and get the camera. So then they have the camera, so they're going to take another picture. That is 3 or 2 points they're going to get. I don't know. 2 points is a lot.
That is definitely a great thing in this game when you're torn between, like, do I jump ahead to get that thing so I know I get it, but then I'm giving up all these things in between. And now you can get some luck-based stuff where, because like every round these shuffle up, and you could get, hey, that thing that Tom needs is the first thing, and he's first player, and like everything's looking up for Tom.
Yep.
But still, because it's a lighter game, that's not like as big a deal. It's not like we're sinking 4 hours into this game, and because of this lucky draw, Tom is crushing now. In addition to that, it's also just a gorgeous game. Like, I really love the artwork. I think their color choices were fantastic, where they went with more muted tones or more saturated tones. The component quality is absolutely phenomenal. You've got your game trays. It's like in the shape of trees to hold all your resources. Your resources are all like stained wood, while your workers are all like painted and screen printed wood. The package that comes together really is just, it's nice.
So what Wes was just saying about the component quality and the graphic design and everything, I'm going to say some stuff, and I want to make sure you're aware that I do really like the graphic design, the way it looks, the art, the component quality, all that stuff. But I do have this weird feeling that I want to kind of just share with you, just express, and see if you guys either know where I'm coming from or at least understand what I'm trying to say. But I want to make sure you understand this is not a negative. The game has such a minimalistic, like old school 60s, 70s kind of look. It's kind of like another Parks and Rec reference. Remember when Tom needs to pick a new font and they look at Jerry's old ID card and they change the Parks and Rec font to all the stuff, make it look old school? Okay. This is so old school and minimalist and all that kind of stuff, to the point where, and maybe it's just because my brain is so conditioned to the graphic design of other games, but my brain has a hard time seeing this as a game. It's so weird of the idea that sometimes I look at it and I'm like, this doesn't look like a normal game to me. It almost hits like uncanny valley level of beauty. Does that make sense?
What the f*** are you talking about?
Like, again, I like it. It's really cool. And I wish this ineffable thing, I'm having a hard time describing it, but I wish this type of thing could be used in more games and implemented in more games, because again, like, I don't know what it is, but my brain is so used to seeing graphic design and seeing text boxes, surrounded by white, and seeing the resource cost up in the corner and seeing the art in here, and maybe it breaches over a little bit, but it's just on such another level that it becomes something my brain has to re-recognize.
Well, whether that resonated with you or not, really is a phenomenal game. I think it's beautiful. Love the component quality. I think you should pick up a copy by clicking the purchase link in the description box down below.
We're also down there. We're going to have a link for probably the expansion, but definitely game toppers, because while this game is hella dope, this game would suck if you had to play it on like a teeny tiny little coffee table or something. Play it on a game topper, yo. Link in the description, but boom.
Or if you're playing it like in the woods on a hike. Like, I could see you may be that kind of person.
That would be cool. Bring your game topper. You can travel with your game topper. Bring that into the woods and play it there. Yeah, it's pretty dope. Also,
either way, yeah, you can say it.
If you want to say it, we can. I don't need to say it, but we can't even. It's like, fucking subscribe.